A very good afternoon to one and all present here. Myself, Farin, pursuing final year in Department of Commerce, Corporate Secretariat Shift 2. Takes an immense pleasure to extend a very warm welcome on behalf of Guru Sri Shanti Vijay Jain College for Women are here for faculty development program on student support and progression. I pray that God keeps nothing but goodness laid on your path ahead. Let's start the event with shower of blessings of Almighty.
Was not.
ॐ नमो हरिहरसारम् ॐ नमो सिद्धाणम् ॐ नमो हरियाणम् ॐ नमो मच्छायाणम् नमो दोये सहसाहुरम् ईशो पञ्चनमुक्तारो सर्वपापनाशनो मङ्गलाणं च सप्रेषिं परमं हवै मङ्गलम् परमं हवै मङ्गलम्.
May I now call upon Dr. Padmavati ma'am to deliver welcome address and read the guest profile.
Good afternoon to one and all present here. I take the privilege to welcome our chief guest, Dr. Krithyan Lad, Professor, Department of Physics, Sardar Patel University, Gujarat. It's a great honor to have you amidst us, sir. At this moment, I extend my hearty welcome to our Honorable Chief Secretary, Dr. Gautam P. Vaid, and respected Principal Madam, Dr. M. K. Malati, to this wonderful occasion. Pleasure is mine to welcome all the staff, faculty members of GSS Jain College and participants from various other colleges. I'm sure this webinar could be the need of time that could help us to mold our students and support, increase their support and progression through proper guidance and render moral support, thereby contributing to the strong future generation of our nation. At this moment, I take the honor to introduce our chief guest by mentioning a gist of his profile. Dr. Krith N. Land had obtained his UG graduation in the Department of Physics from Veer Narmad South Gujarat University, Vadodara, in the year 1995. He did both PG and doctorate in MS University, Baroda in the years 1997 and 2004 respectively. I'm proud to mention that he has nearly 24 years of experience by serving university like MS University of Baroda, Bhavnagar University, and at present working as professor in SP University, Gujarat from 2018 till date. His service is recognized internationally by working as Boy Scout Fellow during the year 2010 to 2011 in University of Nevada, Reno, France. His noteworthy research projects are molecular dynamic simulation of class formation and crystallization process during the year 2007 to 10 with a funding of 4.08 lakh from DST agency, New Delhi. Another noteworthy research project is microalloying effects on the atomic level structures with a fund of 22.44 lakhs during the year 2019 to 22. He has published nearly about 34 research articles in the areas of research like theoretical modeling and computer stimulation studies of structure, thermodynamics, and metallic glass forming liquids. There are 2 research scholars pursuing PhD under his guidance at present. He has been invited for more than 6 talks, given 9 oral presentations, and also made 8 poster presentations so far. On top of things, he is a co-coordinator of NAC committee in Sardar Patel University, Gujarat, because of which he is with us today to put forth his views and suggestions to improve the students' support and progression. A warm welcome to you once again, sir, and we are so eager to hear your speech.
Thank you, ma'am. With due respect, I welcome our chief guest, Dr. Krit N. Lad, Professor, Department of Physics, Sardar Patel University, Gujarat, to deliver his speech on topic student support and progression.
Okay, so thank you very much. Now, uh, so it's good afternoon, all of you. Let me know if you cannot hear my voice and if you cannot see the screen which I am right now sharing it. I suppose you can hear me as well as you can see also the screen. Am I right? Am I audible? I mean,
Yes,
am I
sir, you're audible.
okay? And that the slides are also seen to you, right? Yeah. So in case if there is some technical issue, let me know so that I can understand everything is in the order. So first of all, I would like to thank the college management of the GSS Jain College for Women, including the IQSC coordinator, Mrs. Padmavati, for inviting me to share something which I know with you. And I have been interested to talk about student support and progression, which basically is a one of the criterion in NEC assessment process. So I'll be sharing with you whatever I have understood so far through my engagement in IQAC of Sardar Patel University in this NEC process as a co-coordinator. We also recently undergone NEC accreditation of our university, and we had uh, obtained 3.11 CGPA. We had A grade earlier. Now also we have A grade, but the same as like your GSS Jain College, the last cycle was in the old format, that is completely based on peer team visit, and now we have gone through the new format, that is that quantitative plus qualitative, that is including peer team visit as well as DVV. So some slight reduction at our place has taken place because lot of data related issue are there, uh, especially when we deal with DVV process. So with that, now I will go ahead with my presentation. So the outline of this talk, what I'll be covering up during this next 40 to 45 minutes, and remaining part we may be having some question if at all you have anything. So of course I'll be speaking about the student support and progression, but here I will be also briefly talking about the NEC accreditation because it is necessary. So why it is necessary? Uh, and it is mainly related to NEC, and that's why I'm focusing on NEC. So why it is necessary here? Because very recently now NEC has thoroughly revised and improved the entire framework, for the colleges as well as university. So we also need to have a brief overview of what actually has been done by the NEC, because for any college or university, or in short HEI, higher education institution, if it wants to go for NEC accreditation, that institution and the team needs to first understand that framework, then only it can move ahead and revised and improved. And another important development in the last few months, that NEC has become, still it has been transparent, but now it has become more transparent, and it has been undergoing the declaration of the benchmark for the accreditation process. So that also I will be briefly sharing with you that what is it basically. So these 2 points I will be covering, not many things. Then I'll be just talking about students support and progression, where I'll be taking up an outlook, uh, a broad outlook. Then I'll be talking about NEC SSR key indicators related to this criterion, that is criterion 5. Then, what are the necessary steps by any HEI? Maybe it is college or university. Here we will be focusing more on the college. They have to take for getting good grade in NEC, and otherwise also it is necessary, because what we will be talking about is not just for getting the good NEC grade, but it is the quality improvement of the institution which leads us to grade. So that's what is the focus, and what is the role of IQAC in all this, that we will talk in brief. And Lastly, I'll be just I have not prepared any particular points for this, but we will be talking about what are the benefits of NEC accreditation, that I will be just speaking orally. Uh, so now the first point is the outlook, right? That it is now, from this 2023 onwards, a new framework has come into implementation. NEC time to time has revised the framework, because after 2016 a new kind of framework has been developed, quantitative as well as qualitative data based accreditation they have started. Since then it has been continuously into the revision and improvement mode. NEC has been in that mode. So you can see, if you go through the accreditation of different colleges, you will find different kind of parameters and different scales, different weightages, right? So what I'll be talking about is the most recent one, which has been now since implementation from 2023. So those institutions who are now going for accreditation, they have to follow this framework. And important thing is that now in this framework, if anybody are interested, then they can go and check the formats. Now the annual quality assurance report, it is nothing but it is yearly self study report, right? So if we just prepare the AQR, then we will be, by the 5th year we will be ready with the SSR. So NEC has now kept both the format same. AQR is not different from SSR as far as format is concerned. So this table is a overall summary of all the parameters, key indicators, metrics that has been there in the SSR self-study report of NEC. So if you can see, this old means which was existing till last year, and I'm mentioning this only for the colleges, right? I'm mentioning here it is only for the colleges. I'm mentioning only for the colleges. So you can see now here well, criteria are remaining the same. Key indicators are also remaining the same, 32 number. But there is a drastic or very big change in the matrix. So earlier used to be totally 121 matrix. That means in 120 places we had to fill up the data, we had to submit the write-up, right? So if you see the qualitative matrix, that was coming out to be 41 and the quantitative matrix 80. So lot of data one had to fill in, and in that also a lot of repetition or overlapping kind of thing was there, and that has been now considered by NAC, and now they have come up with a very I would say a more simplified framework where you can see that the qualitative matrix which has been 41, now it has just been reduced to 21, right? So it is reduced by 20. So you don't need to worry about 20 more metrics. Similarly, quantitative, it is less than half now. Instead of 80, now it has become just 34, right? And then overall, if you can see, it is just 55, right? So 50% reduction in the data. You can just simply, you can, if you want to understand, you can say. So in short, our work has been reduced, or it will be reduced by this simplification of I mean revision, improvement and simplification of this framework. Of course, it doesn't mean that it has become easy. Rather, it has become little tougher also, because many matrices has been merged, right? So this is about the new and the old framework, key indicator wise and metric wise. Now that also criterion wise also we will see what are the changes, because that also you need to understand when you go for the new cycle of your accreditation, where you can see overall 1,000 points are remaining the same weightage points in all the criteria from 1 to 7. So you can see now that the most important are like this teaching, learning and evaluation, which is having 300 point 350 weightage, and the second highest weightage is given to student support and progression, which is also the same here. In fact, if you can see in the current framework, now revised framework, the student support and progression has been, the weightage of that has been increased by 10 points more, right? And research, innovation, extension, which is much less at the college level, that has been reduced by 10 points, right? And the remaining points remain as it is, right? 100, 350, 100. So what I want to say here is that student support and progression weightage has still been increased, and we will see in the next few slides that how the student support and progression is now more in the control of the HEI. If any HEI wants to score more, they can take steps from the beginning itself, so that they have a authentic things to report to the NEC when they go for the accreditation process. So this is about the weightage of the different criterion in the overall grading of the institution. So now, after having this overall outlook about this NEC accreditation, where I have just uh, shown you what is changed in the previous framework, and what is there now in the new framework. Rest you can study in detail from the documents available in the NEC. I'll be sharing with you links also with you here. But now, more important thing that is very important to know, to be noted by everybody. Perhaps you people will also be very familiar with this by now. That this NEC has become more transparent, and it has released the benchmarks for they are yet to release it for universities. They have suggested benchmark, but for affiliated colleges, they have already released the benchmarks, right? And to make the process still more transparent. What basically transparency means, just we will spend a couple of minutes here, right? That what do we mean by increased transparency by declaration of benchmark, right? So earlier that benchmark, NAC had a benchmark manual. We metric wise there was a weightage, then there is a multiplier factor 1 2 3 0 1 2 3 4, right? But so it was a ledger of maximum score that NEC awards to college seeking assessment, and it was there, but now it was kept secret by NEC. It was not in public domain. Nobody was knowing how grading is being done, how much points I have scored in one particular metric. So it was totally secret, and that's why it was not transparent. And HEIs were always confused about what is happening in different metrics, how are we losing the marks, right? But by declaring the benchmarks, now NEC has made it more transparent. Now any institution which has gone for uh, accreditation, they can cross check whether whatever score they have got is correct or not. So based on that they can decide whether to go for appeal or not. And also for the institution that wants to go for accreditation, they can also preliminary do everything and try to improve the data wherever necessary time to time. So what was the process earlier? That any institution which wants to go for NEC accreditation, they used to prepare a self-study report after completing all the requirement, like filling up at least 4 AQRs, and then prepare fifth year they prepared SSR and they submit. There is a process called DVV where that quantitative matrix has been assessed by the third party. That's once again it's a confidential matter. Then remaining qualitative matrices will be assessed by the peer team. So peer team will visit the college and then so especially here there was still many question marks as far as HEI is concerned, how things are being done. And then you get the grade, and once again many times uh, we as an institution we don't know what has happened to the grade, because many of the institution which has undergone this process, they were accredited in the old mechanism of completely visit based assessment to now this new DVV PTV. So the colleges, if you can see, if you can analyze the data overall, you will find that most of the institution which has gone this data based evaluation after switching over from the that visit based evaluation, they have undergone reduction in their grade. Most of them, not I am saying all, but many, because there were many confusion related to data and the submission of the proofs and all that. So that was there. Now, since the benchmark has been declared, now you yourself can have the self-assessment. You just do not need to study the data. You can also assess the data. You can give the grading, and you can have the judgment of the score. You can clearly have an idea. Like leaving aside the qualitative part, you can have a very clear idea where your college or institution stands as far as the quantitative data is concerned, because that is what we already have with all the proofs, and we can claim it and we can justify it also. So you can have the judgment of the grade that you have. So you can improve wherever it is necessary and whatever you can do in time. So that is what is something which I wanted to highlight. And just to just this is what basically you can find in the NEC website. I have given to so this is I have taken from the NEC website. It is the public disclosure of benchmark and by the NEC director. It is there, and there you can download all these things: device manual, then benchmarks, right, templates, And the most important thing is the SOP, that everything you can download from here and study for further process. So, what actually this benchmark manual is, that I'll be just sharing a screenshot with you just to give you an idea. This also you can download from the NEC website. So this is what is the recommended benchmark manual, and this just part of that first criteria I have shown to you what actually it gives you. So you can see metric wise, it has given like four multipliers 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. So what should be your score in each metric or data that you are going to input in quantitative metrics. This is just for quantitative metrics. Qualitative is going to be decided by the peer team. So that is not going to be there in this manual, right? So you can see here that you can in advance know where you can see in one particular input data point. If you know the your data input, then you can easily get the score, right? So you can easily decide the score. So this is just for 1.2.1, 1.2.2, right? Let's say first of all, let's say number of add-on certificate courses program offered online mode. So how many? So it is to be during last 5 years, right? So last 5 years, how many this time of programs were offered? So if you have more than 50 or minimum 15 and more, then you will be scoring the full points. That is 4 multiplied by the weightage of that particular point, right? Then if you have between 15 to 25, you will be squaring 3 multiplied by the weightage. I'll be demonstrating that to you also. Likewise, that. And similarly for enrollment, so just offering the program is not only thing important, enrollment is also important. So what should be the percentage of enrollment? There also you can calculate the score based on, so you can now make the decision that okay, I will need this many students to be enrolled for getting maximum score. That is what now you can decide from the beginning itself. Similarly for feedback also, in some of the responses you will have to choose A, B, C, D, E. So it is very clear. If you choose A, then only you will get 4. Otherwise, you are going to get accordingly. If you choose B, C, D, when if you choose E, it is going to be 0 in all the such metrics. So this is what is basically the benchmark manual, which you can find in the NEC website. And now I will be coming to my today's main consideration: student support and progression. So first we will have an outlook about the student support and progression. So I mean, what basically we want to understand from this student support and progression, right? Of course, it is a NEC criterion, but why they have chosen this particular title? What is the significance? So basically, you can say that any HEI, it is a college or university, and the students, they are complementary to each other. If one does not exist, the other cannot exist, right? So if there is no student, there is no HEI or college, right? And the same way, HEI, if it is there, the empty building is of no use. Without student, HEI is also nothing. So it's a completely complementary relationship. So that's why what actually I would say here is that students basically are the most important stakeholder of any institution, educational institution, right? And also basically they are the soul of that institution. Without that, that institution is nothing. And more importantly, that institution has got young and resourceful minds, which are the students, and which is going to shape the future of the nation as well as the society in general, right? Because they are going to be our workforce, they are going to be our productive force in future. So that's why this student support and progression is otherwise also important. NEC point of view is okay, that for getting the good grade, that is fine, but otherwise in general also it is a very important aspect. Just to give you that if you can see the all the 7 criteria. First is curricular aspect, second is teaching, learning and evolution, third is research, innovation and extension, fourth is infrastructure, learning and resources, then this student support and progression. All these 7 criteria, if you can see, what anybody can very simply understand that it is all student centric, right? It is all student centric. Everything is centered toward the student, right? So that means student support and progression is very important. Any HEI has to take more care in this aspect of supporting the student and looking at their progression. So this is what I am trying here to give you the landscape of student life in college, where I'll be just giving you some words which we will be reading in the SSR. These terms, those who are engaged in this activity, especially IQSC, they will be very well knowing, but these are the terms which you will be. So any student which entered, the first thing that happens is admission. And before admission also, a lot of inquiry and all this happens. Once the student takes the admission, the students are there for curricular activities, co-curricular activities. These are the terms you will have to keep in mind, which appears everywhere in the SSR, not only in this particular criteria of student support and progression, but in all other criteria 1, 2, 4, at many places you will come across that. Then comes the associated aspect. When a student enters the college, then apart from their activities, what is the important aspect is scholarship and financial assistance. The student is also an important aspect that student will be looking for during his or her stay in the college life. So that is another important. Then this is another most important aspect of the college life, that is extracurricular activities like sports and cultural activities. In fact, for any college, it is the heart of that, the main. Apart from the studies, the other thing that we can say, it is the sports and cultural activities. Then this is another important aspect of the student life. There should be a student council. So student council and rival redressal during that student life, this is another important thing. One more and very crucial aspect is career counseling and guidance. Then, of course, somebody is calling for coming to college to build a career, so placements are another important thing. Then higher studies for colleges, maximum number of students go for higher studies. Placements also student prefer, but majority of the student, especially in the UG college, they go for higher studies. Then, related to all this, you will also hear some sort of student related points, like during the curricular activities, they may undergo internships, experiential learnings, skill development programs. Then, in these activities, also, they will have many achievements, they will have awards, medals in sports activities as well as cultural activities, or not only that, even academic activities. Like they also have success in competitive exam. So these are some terms, words which I have listed. This is not the exhaustively, but these are the primary terms that you will find out in NEC point of view, NEC SSR point of view, and we have to keep in mind these words to go for further understanding. So, and finally, alumni is also an important, because the student ultimately becomes alumni, and how well the institution connect with the alumni, that also shows the success of the institution. So now we will quickly go to the metric, K indicator wise, metric wise weightage, and what should be the score of the institution here, right? Why we are showing it here? Because if you read it, then you can understand what should be done by the college or institution uh, for acquiring the maximum point in the NEC accreditation, and in that process, the college will also be having the improvement. So the first metric in this first key indicator 5.1, that is student support, it is telling you about what is the number of students, I mean percentage of students which are benefiting from scholarship and free seats, right? It can be government and non-government, right? So here when we say government, it is normally assumed that when every college obeys the standard reservation policies, and in almost every state the reserved category student almost every student gets the some sort of receipts or scholarship, right? So that data should be considered carefully. You have to understand the data, that because if you are not giving the data, you will be losing here. You have to very clearly understand what you mean by scholarship and receipts, right? And put the data accordingly. Why? Because you can see if you have less than 40% of the data, if your answer is less than 40% in that, the number of per student is so less, then you are not going to get anything. If, keep in mind this has got weightage of 20, right? So you are going to, the maximum is 80. So if you are less than 40%, you are going to get zero into that, right? So this benchmark helps us to understand that. So if you want maximum score, it should be greater than 70%, and for that HEI has to make efforts even to start free seats or scholarship from their own side, or to explore another resources like from NGO. Somehow they have to increase this number, so you can clearly judge what number, what score you will get in this particular metric if you have different percentage of the students here, right? So that is about student support, and especially support, financial support here in terms of scholarship or free seats. And at the college level, we believe that in India there are many students which need it, which really need it. Right now, another support that is given to students, that is in the form of, not on the form of money or financial something, but by enabling them, by empowering them by some skills and other, I mean, so capacity building and skill. So there are once again four different categories: soft skill, language and communication, life. So you have to ensure that you choose all of above. You have 5 years to do all these things, right? So you have to organize the activities, you have to plan the activities, that all of these are covered here, because these are the points where one has to blindly that you have to score A and you have to give A only, because you can very easily do this. There is nothing hard in that. So this colleges can easily score at this particular point. And more importantly, you can see here this has got 10-point weightage, so maximum here you can score 40, right? So here you, any HEI should try that they select A. So even if they are missing in 1 year, that they have not organized some sort of this program, you must do that, right? And I need not say that doing is not sufficient, record keeping is also sufficient. Those institutions who have already undergone the accreditation process, now they know that you need to keep the reports, attendance, geotech photographs and everything with you as a proof for each and every event. So all sort of documents should be available for all these kind of events and programs, right? So you need to read that SOP, standard operating procedure, given by the NEC carefully. If you read that carefully, then there is no confusion. Then third point in that student support is that how many of the student, I mean, how many well, what is the percentage student that is being benefited by the guidance of competitors. So what I was telling is career counseling and guidance also, that has 10-point weightage. Once again, you can see here, if you are not organizing or you are not making efforts to conduct such programs related to career counseling and guidance, then if it is less than 5%, you are going to score 0. If it is greater than 40%, then you will get the maximum 40. So how many programs, I mean, here number of program is not very important, right? Keep in mind here the number of students which are benefiting out of that, that is important, right? So you have to keep the balance between the number of programs organized and the number of students which are participating. And once again, here everything will be required. The proof for that will be required. We cannot claim any number here because otherwise the number will be reduced by the DVV. Then the final point in this student support key indicator 5.1 that has come is about the grievance redressal, especially so any student related grievances, including the sexual harassment and ragging, there must be a mechanism. In fact, it is a directive from the Supreme Court. So any institution must have this. Without that, so in case also, all these four requirements should be somehow complied by the university. There is nothing, I mean, there is nothing very tricky here. It is just nothing but it is about policy. You can see implementation of guideline of statutory regulatory bodies. In fact, mostly all institutions do it, but still the institution has to take care, especially the fourth point, whether it is done timely or not. So we should have proper documentation for that. And once again, we should try here that we do not answer below A. It should be A to get the maximum point once again here. So you can here see maximum is 40, minimum is 0, right? So all of above has to be chosen. Now, coming to the second key indicator. So there are only basically three main key indicators. So I'll be completing very quickly. And this is another about progression. So out when student pass out from the college, he or she may go either to the another institution or in the same institution for higher studies, or he or she can go for job or any sort of employment. So that one has to and keep this point one. This has got a very high weightage. So we have especially the data keeping and record maintaining here will be very important. Somehow, a institution has to develop the mechanism for this, right? So here it is not that all the placements should be in the campus only. Off campus employment can also be considered, but for that we need a proper tracking of the student and proper documentation collection from them, right? So I'll be just showing you one slide regarding that in the coming slides. So here you can see that it is weighted 20. If you are if you show the placement percentage of placement less than 10%, then you can very easily see that it is going to be 0. For the maximum, it has to be at least 60%, right? So you have to see how you have to consider the data. So everything is data here. You have to understand the data, and so it is percentage of placement of student. So it is not just placement. It is placement plus progression, right? So it should be combined, and combined number of students it has to be there. And in this particular key indicator only, there are two metrics. So one was about the placement and progression. Second is about the appearance in competitive exam, different competitive exam by the state government and the central government. So how many number of students are appearing into that, that should be known, and how many are uh, going to be how many are clearing, that is also important. So once again, tracking of the students will be important, because very few students normally clear this kind of test while they are in the college. They will be clearing this exam after going from the college. So tracking of the student is very important, because if you need this data, then they will have to collect it from them, right? So here also you can see that if you have 10% and more number of students clearing such exam, it is going to give you 40, right? So there are only two such metrics in this. Then comes student participation activities. This is, I will emphasize it here, 5.3 is something which no college should I mean, they should be very careful because this is where they can score maximum. Because every college does this. If they take care, they can score maximum here. You can see this 5.3.1. It has got 25 weightage, right? And it is about the awards and medal which have been obtained by the students in sports and cultural activities at different levels: university, state, national, and international level. So this is something very important, and as I said earlier, this is one of the main aspect in the college life for any student. So you can see here the total number of such awards which have student have awards and medal. It should be at least 30 or more, right? If you have 30, then also you will be scoring 100 points here, right? Full marks, right? So somehow we in 5 years, and that also in 5 years, right? So if you in 5 years, if you have 30 students having such award, then you are going to get 100 here. So keep that in mind. If it is less than five, of course, zero. Then comes what are the number of students. Once again, here it is number of activities, not so a number of activities that is important. That what is the average number of sports and cultural program in student participating during last 5 years, right? So here that number of sports and cultural programs which are being organized by the, so here colleges can easily score. The programs that you have to organize is should be greater than or equal to 3. That means at least, sorry, 30. It should be 30. Then you can score full, right? So I suppose that here any college should get full marks because they do organize such activities every year regularly. So no college should have I mean less than 100 here. If but only thing is they have to provide the documents properly as required by the NEC. And the final point that I have to mention here is about the alumni engagement. This is the only qualitative matrix which is going to be looked by the peer team. So, in this entire criterion 5, only one metric which has got weightage of 10, that is qualitative. Earlier it's to be 2, but now it has been merged and done only one. The institution were also asked about the contribution from the alumni, but now it is mm, it is almost going to be just what is the contribution. uh, Hmm. What is the contribution? So there is no direct money involved here. So it is, and it is going to be assessed by the peer team. So you whatever you can have in cash and kind, everything you can show to the team, and try to get the maximum score here. So this is the only quality. So now I will quickly summarize what actually have. So in this student support and progression, in total you have 4 key indicators. In that there are total 9 metrics. Out of 9, 8 are quantitative. So it is completely in your hand by organizing the number of activities, by having that achievements of the student. You can control everything here, provided you take the proper action at appropriate time. Only one is qualitative, that is in the hand of peer team, right? So and this is what I have just shown here. So just to give you the knowledge of this is already there in the NAC and everything. So total weightage of criteria 5 is 140, and that key indicator weightage grade point total comes out to be 560. So if you want to get 4, then you have to get 560 out of 5. I mean, you have to get this 560 score, then you will get the CG, that 4 criteria wise, that 4 you will get. So if you want to get the maximum score, then you have to at least score 520. So 5 out of 560, 520 is completely quantitative, right? Only 60 is 40 is qualitative. So you need hardcore data here with solid proof. So keep that point in mind, that everything is ready. Then you can, it is kind of a mathematics paper where you can score 100 out of 100 if you want. If you need, you need more data for that. So just to give you the idea, what, of course, this is slightly different, but this is something, a college which get B grade. Of course, it was in old framework. This is the score from in criteria 5 from a recently A grade college. This is also old framework. This is not basic. This is not. This is the new framework as I was talking about, but slightly different here. So you can see here that what I have talked about is not this framework. This is at present it is declared. So it is the previous framework. Here you can see some small changes here are there. 45 ki jagah 50, 25, 15, but overall is remaining same 120. So if you just achieve 140, then you are going to get 1.17. But if you want 3 and above, you can see here you should get at least be above 300, 350 or above, right? If you are going below 20, then it's very difficult for you to, if you want to aspire for going A grade, then you can judge at least you need 400 minimum out of 520 or 560, sorry. So then only you can uh, just say, okay, you will be going to the A grade. Otherwise, you will be ending what in B plus or B double plus, right? So now finally, I'll be quickly winding up my presentation. For all this grade to get, it is not going to happen automatic. This is all about data. But for getting the data, we need to do something. So what has to be done? So most important thing that any institution must have now, and I think most of the institution does have that. Maybe including your college might also be having this student life cycle management software, right? A module we will call. What I have shown is just the indicative. It is the aspect which are dealt by this kind of software, and what actually is handled with admission and the enrollment process, fee management, scholarship, etc., program and course selection, exam support, grievance redressal, post-exam support like degree, migration, transcript, feedback and alumni engagement. These are some of the points which I have mentioned here. So this is web solution for, because if you can see that everything is there, you need to keep the track of the data. You have to keep the data with you, right? And also facilitation and support becomes very easy for you if you have web solution. Nowadays we are having everything mobile based, but otherwise also computer based. It is very easy. uh, Processing and management also becomes very easy, all this, and record keeping also becomes very easy with this, right? So that going for any accreditation, not only NEC, any accreditation, NIRF ranking you want to go, you go on for QS ranking, whatever kind of ranking and accreditation, if you want to go for inspection, you want to go for, you can very easily go very quickly. So record keeping also become easier. You can analyze the data very quickly if you have this kind of web solution with you. Then you can, after the analysis, you can take the corrective measures so that you can fill up the gaps. So that is any institution must take the steps to have at least this module with them, by looking after all the aspects which, depending on the nature of the institution, they can tweak the software and do all these things. Otherwise it's, because manual data collection, data processing, and it's a waste of human hours, as well as it is not going to be efficient as well as productive activity. That is where we may lose grade also. So it is an important thing that has to be done without failing by any institution if they want to improve the quality and improve the good grades. And of course, as I said, all those things, that landscape I had shown you about curricular activity, all those things, student oriented, you need to have a good infrastructure and resources. Then only all this thing can come. Data can be coming only, data will be coming only if you have all this. So teaching, learning, resources and management, you should have uh, all of this thing. These are some of the things, not all the things, but these are the important things, bare minimum things that any college should have. Like this should be available on the web to any students, and the college must have all these things. Like for example, this academic schedule should be available to student on the fingertip. Syllabus of that also should be there. Lecture notes should be there. Video lecture should be there. There should be sufficient laboratory, studios, workshop wherever required. Computer lab is most important component nowadays. ICT enabled classroom is also once again there. Library is also. So these are all the things. Not only in student support, it's a part of student support, but it is also coming into another criteria also, but it's a part of infrastructure which is required for supporting the student and their better progression, right? So this is how it is going to reflect. Then of course, when it's supporting the student comes, then basic amenities, these are the bare minimum which are required. I have listed it here. Hmm. Purified water, girls room, toilets, facilities for deviant students, these are very crucial aspect, though it seems to be very basic. But when it comes to peer team visit, one has to be very careful. These are the basic, it must be there, right? Wherever. And transportation facility also, whenever the college is established in remote area, then college has to take care about the transportation of the students. Then for all those points that you want to score, co-curricular and extracurricular activities, these are something which are required. One of them is facilities for cultural activities, sports ground and facilities, gymnasium, yoga facilities, and of course NSS, NCC, by this Youth Red Cross. These are all integral part of any college normally, right? So and through that organs you do lot of activities, right? But this infrastructure resources are the bare minimum for a quality HEI, which is not only necessary for NEC, but otherwise it's also necessary. If you have this much and if you have proper utilization, you can be sure about getting the good grade. Uh, so now, well, as I say, benefits of the neck academy. In fact, I'm sorry here. Actually, that should be that I have wrongly. Just excuse me for a moment. I'll be just changing the title of this. So this is my last slide, and I'll be concluding my this. So, can anybody let me know? Is my slide visible on the screen now? Is my screen visible on the screen? Hello, hello.
No,
Is
sir.
my screen is my screen available? PowerPoint. Can you see it?
No, sir.
Okay, then just a moment. Let me. I think I have to share it again. This is the last slide that I have to share with you, and then I'm going to conclude. Yeah. So this is the final slide that I have to share with you. That what is the role of IQAC in all this is so for any institution, IQAC is where Q stands for quality assurance. So QA means quality assurance. So for that, IQAC has to be connected with these important organs like executive council and management. That is the driving force, because IQAC cannot take decisions. Executive council and management is very important. So IQAC is interface between this council and management and the other three aspects: teachers, students, and another important thing, that if any college or institution has to collaborate and undertake the activities, IQAC plays a important role. So then what are the other these are some of the things which I am enlisting here, not all. So, what are the important things that IQAC has to do? And it has almost everything to do with students and support and their progression. Apart from that, there will be a couple of general point also. So, one of them is that academic calendar planning and execution. That should be calendar planning is should be handled by IQAC in consultation with all the other departments and all that, so that all the different activities can be included in that calendar, academic calendar, and it can be executed effectively. So IQAC has to be there. Then without policy it will be very difficult to implement anything. So any academic, admin and research policy making, IQC should be integral part, because ultimately when all this quality aspect comes, it has to be done, it has IQAC has to deal with that. So IQAC must take care of all this. Then participation in curriculum design and delivery, wherever IQAC can, though they cannot directly design, but they can give the suggestion, because ultimately it is going to affect the students. So participation in curriculum design and delivery is also a place where IQAC plays an important role. Then this is all criteria one, but it is important here that feedback from stakeholders has to be collected by the IQAC. It has to be analyzed and appropriate action has to be taken. And very NEC is very particular about that, what type of feedback you have to take and what has to be considered. So you have to consider that. Then of course career council and guidance. IQC will be the interface with the appropriate cell of the college or institution, but it has to be there. What sort of program has to be organized, and that's why it should be IQC should be there. Sports and cultural activity, once again, it will not be handled by IQSC, but as when planning the events, IQSC should be there so that they can suggest something which is necessary, because as we see, this is very important. You are going to get 200 out of that, 200 points out. So total there are 520 out of 500, 200. If you can see, they are especially related to all those things, right? So keep this point in mind. So this is carefully to be undertaken. Once again, this is also capacity and skill development program for the students. It has to be planned and executed in consultation with IQAC, or IQAC should direct the relevant department for that. Faculty development and training programs for the teachers, like today's program, are also to be handled by IQAC. And not only faculty, but the admin staff also needs to be trained, and that has also there also IQAC is important. And finally, alumni engagement, that is also where the IQAC plays an important role. Yeah, and the last point which I have scoped, that what are the benefits of NEC accreditation? Well, everybody knows nowadays it is very important. I just want to mention, as I said, our college has recently undergone the NEC accreditation. The grade is important, but what is more important is that in this assessment process, we look after so many things which we otherwise do not take care. So in this entire process, our institution, our college gets good improvement, right? We improve at many plus. It's kind of, we put our house in order by doing all this exercise, and we know it, we bring in something new if it is required, if we discard something if it is not required. So this is an exercise, basically it's a cleansing of our institution and improvement, right? And another important thing is that during this process, all our human resources, admin staff, teachers, and of course students, it becomes kind of, there is a interfacing and a lot of interaction takes place. So a cooperative management and participative management arises. So overall positive things arises out of this accreditation process. That is additional achievement apart from the grade, right? So that's the benefit of that. So that is all about from me. So I thank all of you who have listened to that carefully, and I will be happy to answer any question. I will try to answer with whatever I know, because this is a NAC process and nobody can be 100% sure about the answer, but I can just guide you in proper direction. So thank you very much. Now I hand over the presentation, further proceeding of the workshop to the organizers.
Thank you, sir, for your valuable thought, sharing your valuable thoughts with us. Now I request Geetanjali, Department of Accounting and Finance, to propose vote of thanks.
A warm and graceful greetings to one and all present here. I, Geetanjali Kher, 3rd BCom ANF, take an immense pleasure to prepare vote of thanks. First and foremost, I thank to the Almighty God for making today's event a resounding success. On behalf of GSS Jain College for Women, my hearty note of thanks to a guest of honor, Dr. Kirit N. Lath, Professor, Department of Physics, SP University, who spared his valuable time from his busiest schedule to grace the occasion. Today, we had an opportunity to hear your thoughts, and this will surely be going to encourage us in our future. My wholehearted gratitude to our Principal Ma'am Dr. M. K. Malati and Secretary Sir Dr. Gautam P. Vaid for being the catalyst that stimulated us to do our best and standing as a pillar of support. I extend my thanks to the respected staff members for the active participation. Thank you.
Okay, so now I'll be leaving the meeting.
Let's wind up the seminar with National Anthem.
जनगण मन अधिनायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता पंजाब सिंध गुजरात मराठा द्राविड उत्कल बंगा विंध्य हिमाचल यमुना गंगा उज्जल जलधि तरंगा तव शुभ नामे जागे तव शुभ आशीष मांगे गाहे तव जय गाथा तव जय गाथा जय जय मंगलदायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता जय हे जय हे जय हे जय 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 हे
Thank you all.